What's up, Sean?
Hey, Tom, what's up? All right, hopefully we've got more people that will be coming into the meeting. Lots of people signing in. Good evening, everyone. We'll give a couple more minutes for everybody to get in. If you haven't already, if you can sign in on the agenda, that would be great. You were shared that in the email that went out today with a call reminder, and you can get to that. It is today's date, 9/19, is the document we're working on.
Just wanted to bring it up. You sound really muffled.
I sound really muffled.
What I can do.
John, are you there? Anybody there?
Jeff, we're all here. I've got some technical issues I'm trying to work on. My microphone doesn't seem to be working very well.
Okay, because it keeps coming up saying the host is in another meeting and it won't let me on in Zoom, so.
Okay, that's weird.
Yeah, you
That
canceled. I'm not sure what's going on.
Sean has said that on the email that went out, but if you go to the link in the meeting notes, then it goes right to it.
Okay.
I went to the link in the meeting notes and it comes up, the host has another meeting in progress, and it's got me on standby. So I dialed in, not letting me in Zoom.
Okay. Sorry about that. We'll get it sorted out. There's a bunch of hidden links and things, and tracking them all down has been a little bit difficult. So. All right. Can everybody hear me okay?
Yeah,
I'm
that's-
on my phone.
Yeah, that sounds
All
a lot better.
Okay, thank you. I switched microphones, so thanks for letting me know. All right, sorry about that for any delay that might have caused. It looks like we are at 7:30, so we can go ahead and get started. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the 2023 season. It's pretty awesome. Definitely missed everyone. It's been a busy summer. We've been doing a lot of work. And I see that our new league director, Brian Russell, has joined the call. Brian, do you want to say a few words?
Yeah, I absolutely do, Sean. Thanks so much for having me on the coaches call. And thank you to everybody that's given me a warm welcome to the league. I think I am less than a week away from turnover with Michael Eastwood, and I want to thank him publicly for spending about 2 weeks with me, getting me up to speed. I certainly have a lot to learn, but it's been fun so far, and I'm looking forward to seeing how I can continue to grow this league by getting more kids on bikes. So please don't be afraid to reach out, tell me what you're thinking, tell me what's going on. I'm in my forming phase for understanding the league. I know I've been here for a couple years, but still a lot to learn. And Sean, want to thank you publicly for all the help you've done in getting me up to speed and teaching me how to use Zoom links and Google Calendar and Google Tasks. Just so you know, Sean tasks me all the time through Google Tasks, keeping me on track as league director. So I appreciate the accountability partner, Sean, and looking forward to the conversation tonight.
Awesome. Sorry, I'm juggling dogs while you were talking. Yeah, thanks. And we're super glad to have you. And for those of you that don't know, Brian has been a coach supporter for the past 2 seasons, and he is an excellent fit for the league director role. So we're really lucky to have him. All right, let's get started. So we are kind of at the 0 point of everything this season. We are 0 registered teams, 0 licensed coaches, 0 riders, because PitZone has reset. And so that's kind of our big topic for this evening, is all about PitZone and those important dates that we've got to worry about. So October 1st is going to be the date that PitZone opens for coaches. October 15th is the date that PitZone is going to open for student athletes. And November 1st is the date that is the last day to register teams at the $20 price. And November 30th is the last day to register a team in general. Then our regular season again starts December 1st. And then January 31st is the last day for student athletes to register with a team. The questions that are coming up right now is, what can coaches do now to work on their licensure before the October 1st PitZone opens? That's kind of going to err on the side of being conservative. All of those trainings that are biannual, so the level 1, level 2, or level 3 licensure that expire 2 years out, those you can do right now. And typically they'll be yellow if they're going to expire this season. They'll be red if they're going to expire within 30 days or they have expired. So you can do those whenever they are within 30 days of the expiration date, but not before. If you do it before that, it's not going to give you credit and you would have to do it again. Other than that, things like the code of ethics, the background check, all of those things that you do every year when you register, those you need to wait until after the PitZone opens in order to get credit. If you do them before, you're likely to not get credit for having done them this season because it was done prior to PitZone registration opening. Are there any questions on that?
Hey, Sean, this is Elise Freed.
Hey, Elise.
Some other coaches from my team are having difficulty getting into the call, so just wanted to let you know that maybe some people are having some issues joining.
Understood. There is a new link, and the new link in the document, as well as the new link in the call reminder that went out today, those should be working. So just have them try again. For some reason, it's saying that there's another meeting going on, and I'm not sure what that's all about.
Yeah, I was going to say, this is Ryan. The link in the email sent me to the another meeting going on. The link in the Google Calendar was the right one. So
Okay.
there's some connection that's not right.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on. So I will get all that straightened out. I apologize to everyone that's having issues with that.
I posted it from the document into the coaches Facebook group for you, Sean.
Okay, thank you very much, Ben. I appreciate that. Is this link working here that's in the document itself?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah, that worked for me too, Sean.
Perfect. All right. Excellent. So my apologies on that. As far as this PitZone thing, I just want to make sure that coaches don't end up having to do something over that they've worked on. So I'm really hesitant for them to do anything other than the level 1, level 2, or level 3 licensure requirements. One thing that I do want to kind of bring it up and put on everyone's radar, if you are a level 2 or a level 3 coach and you've been level 2 or level 3 for 3 seasons, then you have a CEU requirement that's going to prevent you.
Mute your phone.
All right. So that CEU requirement is going to kick in, and it will prevent you from
If you're from a 252 number, you either need to mute or drop.
All right. Sorry about that.
You may have to drop that number.
I can't.
You should be
juggle
able
all
to
of
mute
this.
them, Sean.
Yeah, I can't juggle all of this. This is a bit too much with my screen being shared. So I'll do my best. There, that seems like that did it. All right. To continue on, so those CEU requirements, double check and make sure that you are kind of prepared for those CEUs. If you are attending the league summit, not for the level 3 licensure requirement, the leadership summit, but you've already done that to meet level 3. If you do it again, you will get CEUs for that. There's a couple of modules, or one module in PitZone now that offers 2 CEUs. It's the new adventure coaching module. And if you are a level 3 coach and you are doing the level 1 and the level 2 licensure level trainings in PitZone, those will also give you CEUs. So there's a number of ways you can get CEUs just within NICA. And then if you have other things, like if you've done some instruction training or anything like that, you can send those in for approval for CEUs as well. If you have any questions about CEUs or you're in need of CEUs, just email me and I'll be happy to kind of point you in the direction of some places you can get some CEUs pretty easily so that you can meet those requirements. Last thing, October 1st, I will send out the link for the 2023 team proposals, and all returning and new teams will need to fill out a team proposal. Please fill one out if you are the head coach or team director for multiple teams. Please fill one out for each team so that we've got all those there. And once we look through the team proposals and approve them, then you will be able to start registering student athletes on October 15th. The other thing to be aware of is that we are requiring that the team director and head coach both be fully registered in PitZone. This does not mean you have to be fully licensed at the license level that your team requires. So if you are a head coach that's required to be at level 3 licensure, but right now you can only be level 1, that's fine. We just need everyone to be fully registered so that I'm not having to track down coaches, especially head coaches and team directors that aren't even fully registered coaches in PitZone, and we're deep into the season. So this is to help prevent that and make sure that everyone's in compliance with the requirements for licensure for running their teams. Are there any questions or concerns about that? All right. We've also, I get lots of people emailing about additional OTBS 101 courses, and the standard reply is that outside of the August OTBS 101 training schedule, we do OTBS 101 courses if a new team joins the league, and we schedule with that team for a schedule that works with them, for them and our coach supporters at a location of their choosing. And if there's any seats that they don't occupy, so we do 10 seats, if they only have 5 or 6 coaches, then we open the remainder of those seats up to the league to register and attend that OTBS 101. I don't know of currently more than 1 or possibly 2 teams that are looking to join. I'm going to be starting a new team, and so that means that I will be holding an OTBS 101 for coaches that would be a part of that new team. And there will be some space in there for other coaches to join for the OTBS 101, at least for that one training. And any other teams that come on board will do the same thing. And Shell, are you on the call this evening? Shell is not with us this evening, but there are some upcoming GRIT events. You have probably already received some information on that, especially those of you that have a GRIT coach designated on your team. That first event is going to be October 29th at Dark Mountain. It will probably rain, but let's hope that it doesn't.
Uncalled for. Uncalled for.
I'm just going with the past experiences of Dark Mountain. So hopefully it will be dry, but it is Dark Mountain, and anytime NICA and Dark Mountain collide, there seems to be rain involved. So with that being said, it is a costume ride, so that'll be a fun one for everybody that wants to participate with that one. There is a question in the chat from Aaron Barrett. How many CEUs do you get for PMBIA level 1 certification? That is determined by NICA, and so what you would need to do is submit those documents to NICA, and then they will tell you how many CEUs they're going to give you for that certification. But that is a great example of something that is worthy of CEU credit. PMBIA, I know I've done a couple of events working for Ninja where we actually were doing weekends of training, and they gave me CEU credits for that. So there's all sorts of things that are outside of NICA that they will certainly give you credit for. And then last but not least is if you want to add the 2023 season event calendar to your Google Calendar, you can click on that link, and it will add a calendar that we're going to keep updated with all the events that are going on, including any event information that you might need. So for instance, these Zoom meetings are on there, and that way you'll get reminders and all of that. With as much as I have going on in my life, I know I kind of live and die by a digital calendar tell me when, where, and what to do. So I wanted to extend that to all of you because I know that we're all very busy, and I appreciate and respect your time and taking the time to join us here on these monthly calls. That's kind of all we've got for new information right now leading into the preseason. But I certainly want to open up the floor to all of you for any questions or concerns or any topics really that you might want to discuss.
Hey, Sean, this is Erin Barrett.
Hi, Erin.
Hey, can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Cool. So I guess I have one kind of question or comment, and I feel like I know that you guys, listed the dates of the races, and for us being so far west and having, and I know why you have Elizabethton as the first race, but it kind of puts our riders at a disadvantage having that race so far from us. Missing the first race, we're really at a disadvantage for them to regain that standing kind of in the placement of the lineup and just points. And so I wonder if that's possibly in where maybe make it.
I'm sorry, can you repeat your question about what's in the works? I'm sorry, you're breaking up really badly, so I'll kind of.
For the first race?
What's that again?
John, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Sorry, I'm coming through from Tennessee. We're coming back from Bentonville, actually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so we were just wondering, so Western North Carolina, I feel like for the first race, we're kind of at a disadvantage having it at Elizabethton for the first race because of how far we have to go. And if our riders miss that first race, they're really just at a huge disadvantage, trying to catch up the rest of the season. I just wondered if it was possible, or if there was anything maybe being more central for the first race. And I know you do it for weather, but, it just kind of puts us in a bad spot.
We can certainly discuss that. It wouldn't be something that would be in place for this season because we are already pulling permits and all of that information for the race series the way it is this season. But we can certainly look for that next season. And also we have spent a good deal this summer and continue to spend time even through the rest of this year visiting venues, and we've been focusing on Western North Carolina. We continue to search for venues that will accommodate a race event. We're finding plenty of venues that will accommodate other types of events, but not races. And so we continue to search for that. So we are doing everything we can to try and build out a event sort of portfolio that we would be able to have more races in Western North Carolina in addition to Central and Eastern. And eventually our goal is going to be to, split kind of with having some concurrent races. This is thinking, seasons down the road, is having a bi-weekly model where there would be multiple sort of races going on a given weekend, and teams would be going to the races that were more closely aligned with where they were at, and going forward from there. So thinking ahead multiple seasons, that's sort of the ideas that we have that we're trying to put in place. But we have to build that portfolio of event venues first.
Okay, thank you. I just, it's just for that first race, maybe, and I get it for this year, but maybe in the future, it's just a thought that if maybe that first race should be more central, it's really far for our team. And so if we have to drop a race, that would be the race that some of our team would drop.
Yeah, agreed. I'm Western North Carolina as well, so it's a far drive for my team as well. So I know exactly what you're saying. And then Keith, you have a question: is there a way to calculate starting grid while accommodating a missed race? There really isn't. We've various ideas have been pitched, but we don't have a good handle on how this would be handled. And so right now it's always done based on accumulated points. And if you miss a race, then that just affects your overall standing. This first race, though, it does make a big difference because then you would go into your second race with no starting call up, so you would have to fight your way through a bit more of a field. So it is definitely something that we would talk about and work out some sort of equitable solution for. Steve, yours sounds like there will be more organized adventure rides this year. Do you have more details on that? We have quite a few kids that are into XC racing as much as riding. So that's definitely something that we are talking about, and we are looking at how that's going to work. There's nothing really definite right now, but it's definitely something that we're working on.
Okay, thanks. And that was supposed to be aren't into XC racing as much as riding, right? And trying to sell this to some of the families, right? The kids are kind of like, oh, especially as they're getting older and they don't want to do all the laps, but they love riding together, right? And
Yep.
the idea, hey, we're going to be able to do this if I start talking. They're excited, but they want to kind of hear more, right? Like, so it's
Exactly. And that's something that we've been discussing for that very reason. What do we do for the kids that aren't that into racing, that want something else? And we learned a lot from that season of adventure. There were a lot of kids on my teams that they just loved going out and doing rides in different places and these bigger rides and things like that. So that's something that we are really wanting to build out to be more robust. And kind of the vision is to really have multiple different event types going on throughout the season. And that's something that we're definitely going to be working towards as we move forward from this season onward. Any updates?
Steve, Brian Russell here. I'll just echo what Sean has said. We are thinking hard about how we provide multiple opportunities for all of our student athletes, some that are interested in racing, some that are interested in the cross country, group rides, teen trail corps. Shell has agreed to help me think that through as a broader programs director. No promises per se for what we can pull off this season, but it's definitely something we want to move towards here in North Carolina. I read you loud and clear on that, Steve.
awesome. Thanks, guys. That was great. When I heard that in the podcast, I was definitely, that was really good. Little plug for the podcast too, right there.
Thank you.
Yeah.
My tens of listeners, I appreciate it. Aubrey, question: any updates on the Jeff Archer loaner bike program for the upcoming season? What updates would you like? The Jeff Archer loaner bike program is always in place. We will buy bikes if we don't have them. So that's where we're at right now.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I knew it was on hold for a while. And I just, as we get new riders this season, if any come up, I just was curious what the status was for this year.
Yeah, we had it on hold simply because we just couldn't get bikes. Like there was a season where I was calling up people and they were just like, sure, in 2 years I can get you a bike. So we have some. It depends on their size. If you have some really tall kids that need bikes, definitely got you covered. So we're a little bit thinner on the smaller sizes. And I've been in talks with Specialized. I know the rep for North Carolina, and he seems to think that the inventory is going to be very solid on the bike that we determined we would like to get. So I think we're going to be fine. I'm not anticipating any issues.
Great, thank you.
Will completing a level licensure before PitZone opens be saved, or is it best to do it after 10-1? For leveling up? So if it's the level 1, level 2, or level 3 licensure requirement, those you can do now. They're not tied to the season itself, so you should be fine. And Eric, as a suggestion to level the field for those that can't get to the first race, could the second race also have an extended start zone with a minute or two of wider track before dipping into the woods, or possibly a section of wider track after a few minutes of riding? That is a Todd Lester and Ben Harbor question, and they both happen to be on here.
So, Eric, this is Ben Harbor. NICA defines with some of their documentation how wide we want to go with our start shoots and finish shoots. So I'd be interested in seeing if you could explain some more about how widening the track helps people that cannot make it their first race.
Let me unmute here.
Yeah, you're unmuted.
I gotta try to unmute. Am I muted? Yeah.
No, you're good. I can hear you.
Oh, you can hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I was gonna say that in the first race, there, of course, we go around the giant field and around and the whoop-de-doos before we drop in the woods. So there's 6 minutes for the kids to get separated. At the second race last year, if you were someone who's not going to call up and you were stuck behind 50 people, you had 75 yards to pass as many people as you could, which is unreasonable for even the fastest riders. So I just wasn't sure if there's a way that we can back up the start zone so that there's a little bit more space.
Yeah. Okay, I understand your question now.
You know?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I'll try to help answer that one. Each one of our venues is unique, unfortunately. Salisbury, we looked at the hill when we built that last year, and we questioned a lot of, did we start far enough down the hill? And that answer is a resounding no, not last year. So we're looking at each one of our venues as we arrive and try to do some of this planning before we arrive as to where we set up the start finish shoots and how they track before they get into single track. Salisbury was very, very tight last year. We're hoping to try to revamp that and reroute that with some suggestions from our league staff for this coming year. I will tell you, Dark Mountain is always a concern, trying to route that start. So each venue is going to provide its unique challenges to try to make a long enough, wide enough start lane for students to get ready and weeded thinner before they hit into the single track. So yes, we'll continue to work on that. I hope we can make it better with each race and alleviate some of that pain.
Yeah. Well, it's just something to consider because I know there were a lot of people that couldn't get to the first race.
Yeah.
And if you can't, you're kind of stuck back there, and it takes you 3 races to get even close to where you could belong. So if there was just a little more spot, you know.
Yep.
Because once you're in the first 2 rows, all you have to do is hold people off for the first 30 seconds, and you're guaranteed to stay in the top 15. You know, that's for the people that have a great first race. Pretty short loops. Anyway, we'll just continue. I understand that the courses are not always easy, but they're, you know, you should just look at it.
Yeah.
I appreciate all the work everyone does. I'm not being critical. I just was thinking
No.
of one other way that we can make it so the first race isn't where all the marbles go.
Yep.
Hey, Eric, this is Todd Lesser. This kind of feedback we value. We love to hear that from you guys. Like Ben said, definitely the first year or the first time at a venue is definitely a challenge. And we typically learn quite a bit from it. So this season at Salisbury specifically, we know there will be some adjustments. So again, for everybody, you got feedback on a course, please let us know. We will listen to you and we will adjust as much as we can to make it great for everybody.
Okay, thank you very much.
All right, Aaron Barrett, you had a question about the championship race and who qualifies. We have not determined the criteria that we're going to have in place for the championship. We're going to be ironing that out very soon here, but nothing is in place. And you asked, where is it going to be? And we don't have 100% on that either. So 2 things that are kind of up in the air. We just figured out how we could have one in the schedule. So all student athletes will be able to race 5 races, and then those that qualify will be able to race this 6th championship race.
I think our other question there, Sean, was, does the team continue to practice or just the qualified riders?
No, team would continue to practice up until the season ends. So that race will still be within the season, and once we're done with that, then they would be able to still they'd be able to still practice through that last race and beyond. So the team would be able to continue on as a team.
This is Elmer with Lake Norman. I got a quick question, but I would like to add, the longer the start shoots, the better. We have seen where it definitely has impeded some of the riders that missed a couple, and I think that would help out a lot. But in regards to a race that the head coach cannot make, is it still just a requirement that a series a level 3 coach is there? Is that still the same scenario?
Yes, you would just need to let us know who your designee is. So I know there's a couple of teams that the head coach and the team director will switch off. Some races the head coach is there, some races the team director is there. We just need to know who the responsible person is, and that they're appropriately licensed and have access to all of the information that would be needed in case there were some emergency or other situation. And to kind of reiterate the way that we work on assessing penalties and things like that, the referee is going to talk with the head coach or their designee at the race. They're not going to address it with the student athlete or coach or parent that is the one that's involved. So that way it goes from the chief referee to the head coach, and then the head coach is the one who lets everyone know that the penalty has been assessed. Then there's a question about perhaps we could run a timed qualifying per race. That is an idea. We would have to figure out where that's going to fit into a very tight race schedule for the weekend. So we'll consider that, but that is going to be essentially having to run a whole bunch of sets of races in a very tight schedule, and I don't know how realistic that's going to be. But fortunately, I'm not the one who has to wrap my head around that.
It's James. I asked the original question.
Yes.
Just as a little bit of background to it, I think it would address some of the stuff that we see with, start shoot issues with fast riders at the back and slow riders at the front, and also it might help with some of the stuff where we have riders who missed the first one, Western North Carolina, for example. I was kind of thinking, and I'm thinking out loud, and shoot me down. Perhaps we could do it after we do a free ride or a pre-ride. Maybe we could have a session where literally we just switch the timing beacons on, and then people get the opportunity to use that as a timed qualifying. But I'll leave it at that. I mean, we're not going to fix it tonight, but I'd just like to put that out there as an idea, right?
Okay. Thank you for that.
Okay.
Sean, if I could.
Yes.
Yeah, just these are great points, and we appreciate all the feedback on it and trying to determine how we balance all the requirements for the season. I just wanted to say here, this guy, and talking with a lot of the core staff, is not a fan of race caps per se like we had last season. So we're also trying to manage that and how we fit a lot of activities in on the weekend to make sure we can get as many riders as possible. So that's one consideration. The other is what I've mentioned already before about the adventure riding and the Teen Trail Corps. And do we look to incorporate some of those activities as well into some of our race weekends? It's already planned. Just a lot of considerations to balance in pulling off this season. So appreciate all the input on some of these ideas. I just want to let you know we are thinking about all those and trying to come up with the best plan for season here.
All right. And then I have one kind of surprise for everyone. I don't know how many of you use TeamSnap, but this year the league is purchasing TeamSnap League, and that means that we will be providing TeamSnap to all teams in the league free of charge. If you currently have a TeamSnap account, continue on as you are. And once we get everything in place, we will be getting that switched over to the league, and you will be refunded the prorated amount of money that you are due, so that it will switch over to being free to you and the cost being borne by the league. I personally had to stop using TeamSnap because it financially did not make sense for my team, and used one of the alternatives. And I so want to be back on TeamSnap. So when this opportunity presented itself, we really started figuring out how we could incorporate it, because TeamSnap is great. It will boost all of you to the TeamSnap Pro level account, like the highest level of account. So you will get all the bells and whistles that come with TeamSnap. But just one of those ways that we are trying to make your lives a lot easier.
Do we have a date on when all that is going to be available from?
Brian is signing all the paperwork today. So like, it's literally like, I'm hoping to kind of get it up to speed and get it rolling before October 1st, but I don't know about that, but it'll be very soon. So
You got 45 days, right?
Everything takes your new league director twice as long as you would like. So yes, thank you, Sean, for pursuing the opportunity. It's our intent to get that out as soon as possible.
Yeah, and Ryan from TeamSnap, who's in Australia, has been my like new best friend for a couple of weeks now, like emailing me all the time. So I just told him, I was like, we are going to buy this. We've just got to figure out where the money's coming from, but like we're sold. You don't have to keep selling me. So yeah, definitely. All right. Anything else that you have questions about, concerns about, or just want to bring up while you have kind of all of us here on the line that we can bounce ideas off of?
Hey, Sean, this is Todd.
Yes, Todd.
I saw the one note from David Larkins about the locations for the venues.
Yes.
Did we answer that? Because if not, I can answer that real quick.
You answer that. That's all you.
Okay. Yeah. Hey, David. We have all the emails out to all the venues, waiting on them to confirm that we are penciled onto their calendar before we release that. Because sometimes, like last year, we had a conflict, so we had to switch 2 venues, and I don't want to do that to you guys. So I'd rather wait till we have confirmation from all the venues that they're good with the dates, and then we'll release that. So shouldn't be too long. Probably I'm gonna say the end of October, but we should have that fairly quickly. So as soon as it comes out, we'll let y'all know.
Did we give them the date for League Summit?
Oh, thank you, Ben Harbor. Yes. Paying attention. Yes. Put it on your calendar. The League Summit, our first in-person league-wide gathering, will be November 19th and 20th at Rocky Mount Mills. It is near Rocky Mount, I'm assuming. I didn't do the venue survey, but everyone who did was like firing off chat messages to me saying this is where we need to have League Summit. There's riding on property. There are restaurants and microbreweries and things like that on the property. So it's a very cool venue, and we're really stoked to be going there for the League Summit. So League Summit will be Saturday, will be a full day of different sessions. Sunday morning will be sessions through to lunch. And then after lunch on Sunday, you are released to either leave, go home, ride, whatever it is. You're all adults and you can figure out something useful to do. And yes, there will be CEUs for attending sessions at the League Summit. So it will earn you all CEUs. If you're looking on PitZone, everything above and including athlete abuse awareness training should be done after 10-1. This is from Elise and Diane, head coaches and team directors, please start talking to your returning student athletes, parents about volunteer opportunities on race weekends. Volunteers make all of this happen for our teams. So definitely two good plugs. And then Matt Hartman, you mentioned the 1, 2, 3 level coach training being okay. What shouldn't we do early that we won't get credit for? Signing those paperwork, the background check, because that's going to cost you money. Don't do that. I don't think concussion awareness. I don't think you should do that prior to 10-1. So yeah, risk management, hold off on that as well. So wait on all of that. Just do those level 1, 2, 3 licensure courses. You'll be fine. All right. That we've gone over a little bit by 9 minutes, but I think that's because we were all super stoked on Team Snap. If there's nothing else, you all may have a great evening, and thank you for joining me. If anyone has any questions or things that they want to talk about, I'll hang on the line, and I'll be able to talk to you afterwards. But thank you very much. Looking forward to preseason, and if you need anything or you have any questions, you know how to hit me up, Sean at northcarolinamtb.org. Thanks.
Thanks, Sean.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, Sean. Thanks, Sean.
Thank you.
Thanks, Sean.
Thank you.
Can I get a gold coin for bringing up the League Summit?
Ben, that just makes up for all the things you mess up.
Oh, sweet. We got a clean slate.
No. Let's not push it. Whoa. Whoa.
Too far, man. Too far.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I gave you an inch. You took a mile.
It's my e-bike battery.
I think some clarification in the CEUs. I see where it says 3, 6, or 9, depending on the years. Is that years at a certain level, or how does that work?
Yeah. So if you're level 2, I think it's 2 CEUs is what you're required to have. After every 3 years, it's 2 CEUs, and then level 3, it's 9 CEUs every 3 years.
So that's if you're level 3 for 3 years?
Yes.
No. All right.
So if you've been like level 2 or above for 3 years, I don't know how that's going to work for you. But I can reach out to Coach Licensing at NICA and get a little bit of clarification, and see where you would fall with that, if that's the question.
Yeah, that was going to be another one, yes.
Okay.
So thank you.
Yeah, I'll reach out to them and see what it is. If you'll drop me an email just to remind me, and that way I'll know who to respond to, that would be great.
That sounds great.
Hey, Sean, this is Ryan. I just had a quick question about the Team Snap thing. We use a program called Spond.
Yes.
I've been okay with it, but you said you used something else, you didn't like it. So I've never used Team Snap. So like, am I going to be amazed if I go to that, or?
Yes. You'll be amazed.
Yes.
It's very cool. It does a lot. I even have it where I can accept my team dues through it. Like they can pay through the app, and then it deposits it. So it's every bell and whistle you could think of. It's all there. So it's great.
Okay. Well, I'll check it out. Yeah, I wasn't sure if it was worth the effort to change, but I'll look into it. Thanks, man.
Yeah, it's free for you. So if you don't like it, but I think what we're going to try and do is do more like immediate messaging through that, since kind of everybody would have the app. Then maybe that weather related stuff, we'd be able to hit the app to kind of send out league wide messages. So that's one of the things we were kind of anticipating, is being able to do that.
That's pretty valuable. Yeah. Okay. Good to know.
No problem.
There could be a Team Snap for Harbor's guidebook.
All right. Other questions or concerns?
I guess my comment or question is aimed at Todd and Ben. Do I need to stay on after this, or am I done?
Yeah, if you want to talk to Todd and Ben, they're here. So if you want to ask your question.
Just when we were talking last week or early, I don't know, geez, it feels like 2 weeks ago. Anyway, about equipment and stuff for next year. We talked about tents, but just a reminder about the Shimano tape, or SRAM, whatever we are this year. We were down to like one roll. So I don't know how we get cases and cases of tape for these longer roll-ins that people want before we hit single track.
Yeah, well, definitely. I know it's an order. I know Mike Long did a couple of orders last year to get new tape.
Shimano
we'll just
tape.
have to, yeah, the Shimano, the SRAM's no longer a sponsor for us. And I know he got a couple boxes right before the season ended. I hope we didn't run out of all of it, but it's certainly one of those inventory equipment checking lists that we get to do this fall.
Yeah, we still had quite a bit of Shimano tape. I mean, I don't think we're full up, but we had quite a bit there. Because we had two boxes, I think, that were never opened. And then we opened one of the boxes at the last race, I think. So yeah, we got to do, once we get the trailer up there and we get the new trailer and we unload, but that's when we're going to do the inventory, see what we need. Also, one thing we talked about the other night that I totally forgot about was the Trek tents, the Speed Zone tents. They were all but destroyed during that through the course of the season, since Trek went to the, I hate to say cheaper tents, but the cheaper framed tents, that they did not hold up to the weather whatsoever. So they're pretty much shredded. All corners are ripped, and the frames, I think one of them was bent. I don't remember. Again, that'll be an inventory thing, but not sure how we touch base with Trek to get replacement cloth. Or if they do that every year, I don't know.
One of the things that we're going to do different this year, Pete, is parking. We are not going to tape the parking lots. It just consumes way too much tape. As redneck as I want to be, we went to the local North Wilkesboro Speedway grand finale on the old track in August, and they parked enough parking for 30,000 people with a couple wooden stakes and a paint roller, and people directing saying, scoot in, scoot in, scoot in. So I know Keith was doing a pretty good job with his volunteers of flagging vehicles down the lane to park. We don't need to define it with blue tape and red tape everywhere. Just define the spine of the parking lane and let's go. You got a driver's license, learn to use it.
All right. Are there other questions? I see Wesley, Ben, Brian.
Wes Stanley's one of my coaches.
I'm just staying on to learn, Sean. So yeah, this is all good for me.
All right. I'll go ahead and stop the recording.